I want you to take a look at how unpaired hole cards, let's say you've got a king and a jack.
Okay.
Offsuit. Okay? I'm going to deal some flops here, a bunch of flops.
Okay.
And I want you to keep track of the number of hands that hit one pair or better, or the number of hands that whiff. Okay? Right? So here we're going to do 20 flops. 5, 10, 15, 20. Okay? This is 20 flops. If you hit, then you're going to move a chip here. If you whiff, then you're going to move a chip there.
Okay.
All right, here we go. That's a whiff. That's a whiff. That's a hit. That's a hit. Whiff. 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 Hit. Hit. Whiff. Hit. Whiff. Hit. Whiff. 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 Okay, count them up. So we just did 17 flops.
We got 6 hits and 17.
6 and 11 whiffs.
Yeah.
And surprisingly, maybe not surprisingly, that's almost the exact percentage. Only about 35% of the time that you're unpaired are you going to make a pair or better on the flop. That means that 65% of the time, you are not going to have.
Yeah. Yeah.
Right?
It's good to know.
Okay, now think about it, not so much for you, but think about what that means for your opponent who's playing an unpaired hand.
Yeah.
When your opponent is playing an unpaired hand, the chances of them hitting a flop are really low.
Yeah.
Right? And so if you're in position,
Yeah.
and you know that your opponent can only hit a flop 1 out of 3 times, you should be winning a lot of pots, right?
So walk me through the reasoning for that. Then I'm only...
Because if I don't have a pair, and you play aggressively, right? I'm going to teach you to play aggressively. You're going to be betting and raising a lot, right? How can I continue on when I don't have anything? I don't have a pair in my hand. Like, how is it possible for me to put more chips in?
And I know you don't have a pair simply by your betting behavior.
The mathematics show that I can only hit a pair 1 out of 3 times.
Yeah.
Now, there are some boards that are much more likely that I've made a pair than other boards, right? So other flops. So for instance, if you raise and I call, and this is the flop, right?
Yeah.
Most of the hands that I'm calling with have an ace, a king, a queen, something like, you know, some reason for me to put chips into the pot. It's much more likely that I have a pair in that situation than it is if the flop comes 8-5-2. Like, what hands did I call a raise with that hit the 8-5-2? Ace-5 maybe, ace-8? So here are 2 flops. So let's play a hand.
Okay.
So small blind, big blind. I'm the big blind, you're the small blind. Fold, 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 and you raise and make it 6. And now it's on me.
Okay.
And I call. Now, unless I'm just a terrible player, am I calling with 8-7? Unlikely. I've got to have some reason to put more chips into the pot playing out of position. Right? So most normal people that are playing in this spot are much more likely to have some high cards in their hand. Ace-10, Jack-10, Queen-10, Queen-Jack, King-Jack. Those are hands that does it seem much more likely to you that I would call that pre-flop bet with this hand or with that hand? Right? I'm going to be more tempted to put chips into the pot with this hand than I am with this hand. If I have this hand, what am I going to do? When you raise, I'm just going to fold.
Yeah.
I'm not going to play that.
Yeah.
Right? If I had this hand, I might call. Probably not. If I had that hand, I would just fold. If I had this hand, I would just fold. right? If I have 4-3, I'm just folding. I'm not going to play that hand. If I have 10 deuce, I'm just folding, right?
Okay.
So if I have 2 nines, I probably would re-raise,
Yeah.
right? So I probably don't have 2 nines in my hand, right? 10-8 suited, 10-8 of the same suit, I might call,
Yeah.
right? But you see that the types of hands that I'm going to make a play with interact with the first 3 cards very differently, right? And so one of the things that we're going to work on over the course of the coming days is thinking about the range of hands
Yeah.
that your opponent might have, and then mentally calculating how that range either hits or misses the board.
Okay.
And then using that information
Yeah.
to your advantage in the betting.